Hello there. Huge amounts of space debris orbit the Earth and could become a danger. Great Britain now wants to change that and seriously clean up space. Around 5,500 satellites are currently orbiting the Earth, and the trend is rising. They ensure that navigation devices work, that we can follow TV events live, and that the internet is brought to the most remote places in the world. But what happens when a satellite has had its day? The aerospace industry has so far given little thought to this and thus caused vast amounts of space debris. Because decommissioned or damaged satellites and other objects, such as tools that astronauts lost on spacewalks, simply stayed behind in space. According to estimates, 130 million such objects are currently orbiting the Earth. Some of them are just small particles, while others are much larger objects. And it's also interesting that SpaceX sends satellites into space with recycled rockets. As a rule, they do not pose a danger to people on Earth because most of the space debris burns up before it reaches the surface of the Earth, just in the atmosphere. However, a threat cannot be completely ruled out, as was recently shown in Spain. The airspace there had to be temporarily closed because parts of a Chinese rocket fell from the sky. And on the other hand, the situation is much more precarious in the orbit in which satellites orbit the Earth, because the parts don't burn up there and become dangerous projectiles that can travel an incredible 28,000 kilometers per hour. Satellites, for example, regularly have to give way to avoid collisions. Should there be a collision with one of them, or even the ISS, there could be problems on Earth, for example with GPS connections or in telecommunications. And in addition, millions or even billions in damage would result. This should be prevented, at least if the British Space Agency has its way. They want to clean up the universe and are currently looking for the right technology there. Two companies are fighting for the right to launch a cleanup mission into orbit as early as 2026. The prototype that is eventually selected will capture those disused British satellites in orbit around the Earth and then send them on their way towards the Earth's atmosphere. The space debris should then burn up in this, as at least was reported by Sky News. We are in a situation where space is pretty crowded and all these different dead objects are floating around, getting in each other's way, sometimes colliding with each other, and sometimes really getting in the way of what we want to do in space. That was said by Rory Holmes of ClearSpace, one of the competing companies to the TV network. For the past 6 decades, humanity has launched satellites into space without really thinking about what will happen at the end of their lives. Now they have to find a way to, as I said, capture these objects without risking that they will be deflected and fly away uncontrolled in a different direction, because that once again could encourage collisions. One of the problems with the mission is that the cleaning robots have to work independently. Due to the distance from Earth, radio signals would take too long to reach the devices. These could then not react quickly enough to unexpected developments. Remote control is therefore not possible. The robotics required for this is very complex, quotes Sky News' Jason Forshaw from Astroscale, the second company that's still in the race. So far, the British Space Agency has provided the two companies with around £4 million, that's around 4.6 million euros. But that could pay off for the country in the future. Being the first nation to remove space debris would put the UK in a good position for future business. That's what the Space Agency's Adam Kalimetti told Sky News. Then they will be the first to be addressed for upcoming orders after this, of course. And so I thought this is a very interesting topic, and it's nothing to do with Brexit this time, but I still wanted to bring that up. And I hope at least a few people will watch this video. I know it's very topic based how many people watch, but I'll still see you in my next video. I'll be back.